Hi, this is Dave Dirks from Central Willamette Credit Union. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer here, and I'm finishing out this series on my best book recommendations for business owners or those contemplating owning a business. And in this particular podcast, I'm going to focus on a book written by an author named David Rogers, David L. Rogers. He's a professor over at Columbia School of Business. I actually attended and completed a digital marketing certification course through him in Columbia, and it was excellent. To this day, I still reference a lot of that material because there's just so much in the digital space. And his book is called "The Network is Your Customer: 5 Strategies to Thrive in a Digital Age." Well, listen, I don't know too many businesses, even small businesses, who don't have some kind of website presence and, more importantly, an e-commerce component. And quite frankly, I'll be honest with you, I can't think of too many businesses where that wouldn't be possible. Like you don't have some element of an e-commerce business attached, even if you have a brick and mortar store. For example, you might have a brick and mortar store. Maybe you're a local meat shop, right? There's a couple of places where you can buy meats. It probably would behoove you, if you don't already have it, to have the ability to have people order from your site and do it so that when they go to the store, they basically just pick up the package, like everybody else is doing these days. You can order sandwiches that way, your groceries. So those kind of e-commerce components, and it's bigger than that. The book is way bigger, but this is an important book, I think, if you're thinking about how do I really move the needle on my digital strategy, my website strategy, how do I get that to work, my e-commerce strategy. This book is there. Here's a couple of principles I take away from it, but I'm highly recommending this one too in digital space. One principle is access. Be faster, easier, and everywhere and always on. So if you have a digital presence and your website is down or it's clunky and it doesn't work, or there's parts of it where they get a 404 or some weird message, not good. And we're all striving in all of our web work as marketers on my end, trying to how do we make it easier for someone who doesn't know our brand and is new to our website to find what they need? How do we make it easier for our own members and customers to find what we need? Rogers argues that in the digital age, customers expect seamless access to products and services and information, and they don't want to spend north of a couple of seconds finding it. You yourself, think about it. You go on a site, and if you're on that site and you're like just going in circles because you're not finding what you need, you know what you do? You're gone. You go to somewhere else. You go look in Google. So that's really, really good. So he spends a lot of time talking about that. He's talking about engaging customers digitally, become a source of valued content. So he says to earn attention from networked customers, you can't just push out messages. You need to pull them in. You need to use meaningful content, experiences, and value creation in your strategy to kind of make sure that there's some stickiness to your digital strategy overall. He talks about customizing, making your offer adaptable to customers' needs. So there's not a one-size-fits-all kind of offering. You need to kind of find ways to give your customers so that they have choice. They have some way, there's some level of personalization in what your services are or what your products are. Anyway, all good there. And of course, he also spends a lot of time giving a lot of insight on what you need to do to connect with your customers digitally. This is hard, right? It's enough to say when they walk in your store, it's easy to connect with them, right? You learn about them, you can chit chat with them, you can find out what they're looking for, what business they're in, you can find out all kinds of things. Well, on the web or digitally, it's much different. They're just not going to be, they're not walking into your store per se, although they're walking into your digital, your networked world in your business. So he says you got to figure out ways to become part of your customers' conversations. So beyond traditional marketing channels, Rogers highlights the importance of enabling customers to talk with each other, for your organization to listen and join in those conversations. A lot of times places provide places where customers can provide input They can rate products or services. There might be a venue, but you've got to find a way in your digital strategy to give your customers an opportunity to provide you with information and listen in on those conversations and be part of it. And lastly, he talks a lot about collaboration, involving your customers at every stage of your enterprise. This is hard to do. And he's talking about, let's say, for example, inviting your customers to co-create, co-design, participate in some level of innovation, share in the value that you create. The principle is shift from delivering to customers to working with customers as partners. View your customers in a digital network as these are part of your partners. They have feedback, they have ideas, they have insights, they have thoughts. They're part of the conversation. So an entirely different view on, people plop a website up and go, I'm digital because I got a website. That doesn't mean that you have a really network-focused digital strategy that is deeper thinking and more embracing. And it's not tough science. Read his book, The Network is Your Customer, The 5 Strategies to Thrive in the Digital Age. And I guarantee you, it's on my shelf. I've reread it several times, and I go back to it all the time. This is Dave Dirks from Central Willamette Credit Union, wishing you and your business great opportunities out there. Have a great day.
The information provided here is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any financial decisions.